Hello YouTube, I'm Jackhammer451 and I'm here to talk to you about why the big three isn't enough. So first up, what is the big three? The big three refers to the three lifts tested in powerlifting, which are squat, bench press, and deadlift. Point number one, imbalances. Imbalance in the plane of motion. Bench press is a horizontal press, and for everything horizontal, there must be also something vertical. In this case, a vertical press, which might mean overhead press and all its variations. Strict press, push press, behind the neck press, all those sorts of things. So, it's known that your overhead press will always be weaker than your bench press. That's because of leverages. But at the same time, it shouldn't be so low that it's less than half your bench. We live in a fitness community where the bench press takes the spotlight, and therefore, not many lifters give the OHP the respect it deserves. But let alone giving respect to a classic movement. I'm going to talk about shoulder health. When you always do bench press, you always do horizontal press, you always pin to the bench and not let your scapula move freely, you're going to run into some trouble. Mainly overuse injuries. In some extreme cases, it will lead to a full-on tear. Now, I would recommend, and to basically anyone who cares about lifting and longevity, to treat the overhead press as a main press more often than not. You see, after the novice phase, you're free to do a lot of things, but mainly training cycles. And I would recommend that, since most programs focus on one press at a time, simply because of the fact that it's easier to program, easier to recover, I would recommend that in some cases you replace the bench press, because most programs focus on one press, and 99% of the time that press is the bench press. To replace the bench with the overhead press. You might think, oh, but I'm going to lose my bench press gains. If you know anything about lifting, you won't. Your overhead press will, in most cases, will carry tremendously to your bench press, but not the other way around. Now, point number two, imbalances, front to back. We're talking about musculature here. So, if you got big pecs and a big front delt, but your upper back, i.e. your traps and your rhomboids, are thinner than paper mache, you most likely will have upper back rounding all day, every day, which might lead to some injuries, or in the best of cases, just some discomfort. In any case, you should treat your rows. If you're doing bench press, you should be doing rows. Horizontal press, horizontal pull. So, to balance the bench press, you should always do around the same volume, if not more volume, with your rows than with your bench. But yeah, for every bench, for every press, you should do a pull. And segment here, if you're doing vertical press, you should also do vertical pulls. Doing overhead press, straight press, you should do weighted pull-ups, weighted chin-ups, not pull-down. You get the idea. Now, some of you might be thinking, why didn't you touch on legs? Well, you're already doing squats, which is a leg press, and you're already doing deadlifts, which is a hip hinge. So you're basically covered in the lower body. What I would say is just keep them around the same volume. You might be thinking, but oh my lord, that's gonna ruin my spine. Okay, chill down. Just because I said same volume doesn't mean do 5 sets of 5 on deadlifts. No. Do as much volume your program is prescribed, and in any case, just add a couple extra sets of RDLs, stiff-legged deadlifts, or just less taxing variations of the deadlift. But try to keep the hip hinge and the squat relatively the same. All in the name of balance. So that's it for today, guys. I'm Jack Hammer. See you next video.